wearing the headphones over.
I do too. I feel like they're like ear warmers for my hair.
All right, right. I'm sorry. Did you just say they're ear warmers for your hair?
That made no sense. You better bring us in on this podcast.
Oh, no. We're already in it. So, hey, guys, welcome to the Big Money Stylist podcast. I'm your host, Ani Rivera, and this is Danielle KY.
Do you know that pregnancy brain is a real thing?
You told me that when you were pregnant with Isla, and I've never.
No,
I don't.
I told you. I don't know if I shared this last week. Did I tell you I was taking a box into UPS and I was like, I don't know where I put my freaking phone. Like, I don't know where it is. I'm like getting ready. All of a sudden, I'm like, damn it, my box is ringing. My box is ringing.
No, you didn't.
I packed my box in like a return to revolve, taped it up, and almost dropped it off. Thank God it rang.
Danielle K. White. No, you did not.
Okay, and then, yes. So I'm telling you, pregnancy brain is a thing. So then this week, me and my mom and my sister are going out to dinner, and it's always with my phone and I don't have Find Your Phone on or whatever it's called. I should. But anyways, we're getting ready to go to dinner, and I get in the car, and I pull out, and I'm like, oh, I got to have my phone in case my older daughter calls me or whatever. We turn around, and I'm like, oh, my God, I can't find it anywhere. It's not in my purse. It's not in the car. It's not in the bathroom. I'm like, I know I brought it downstairs. I, like, went to the bath. I had, like, a memory of me walking into the bathroom, putting it on the sink, washing my hands. I was like, it's gone. Guess where I found it? Plugged in upstairs. Like I was charging it, but in my mind, I remember unplugging it. I remember like taking it downstairs. And they were like, "That's weird that you would charge your phone." I was like, "I know." Anyways,
the weird thing wasn't that you lost it. The weird thing is that it was charging.
It was charging, but I had like a whole series of events, no, I put it here and then here and then here, and then I'm like, I've lost my mind.
Wow. Well, I was going to say, let's play fucked up, fired up, but I already know you're fucked up. So, Danielle, tell me something you're fired up about. Can't be anything with work.
Oh.
Nothing with
fired
work.
Up. I'm
up.
fired up that I'm having a girl. Woo!
Whoa, yeah! It's another girl.
I got my photos back from my photographer so we did this reveal party. I didn't know what it was. My baby sister is pregnant. We're 10 years apart. She's pregnant with a baby boy. And she was like...
She got the boy.
She got the boy, but she had been trying for like 5 years. And she didn't know if she'd be able to get pregnant. And then she was like, because there's such a big gap between us, she's like, he's not going to have any cousins. Anyway, when I found out I was pregnant, she was like freaking out. She's like, okay, I want to be a part of the reveal. So she was the only one who knew what I was having. Anyways, I got my photos back today. The reactions are like classic. Everyone's like, are you okay? Like,
I was there, and when I watched the video, it was like, oh, and you threw it up in the air like, fuck it.
I literally did. I did. I like fell to my knees, and I was like, no. And then I we did like a smoke bomb, and I threw it, and I was like, I threw it and just walked away, just cleared off the beach. But you know what? It's so funny.
This poor baby.
No, but
she's gonna see that and be like,
no. I will tell you, with Isla, my last baby, when they told me it was a girl, I was kind of disappointed because I was like, oh, this is gonna be my last one. I already have 2 girls. Like, it would have been nice to have a boy. And I'm so obsessed with Isla.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, and don't tell my other kids, but like, she's the cute. I'm sure all my kids are cute, but like as a baby, she's the cutest, and she has the cutest personality. Like, I'm sorry. Like, she's so funny. Maybe it's where I'm at in life too, but
probably also.
So I'm like, part of me, even though I was like a little disappointed, I'm very excited because I love all my kids, you know?
Aww.
It's fine.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Good for you.
So that's my fired up. What's your fired up?
Let me see.
Sure?
Fucked up, fired up. My fucked up is, I had to get another COVID test this weekend. My boyfriend got sick. It wasn't COVID. He got strep, so that was a bummer.
Oh.
I'm like, you would. I swear I lost brain cells. They put that shit so high up my nose. I think I lost brain cells.
I've had so many COVID tests because we keep going to Mexico and they have to COVID test.
They have to, keep going.
Sorry.
I don't know what that sound was.
They have to COVID test you. And like, some people are nicer than others. Some people you're like, did you need to touch my brain? And then some people you're like, did you do anything?
I prefer the did you do anything?
Yeah, exactly.
Fired up. Oh, okay. I'm really excited. Did you know that today has officially 6 months and 2 days since I started surfing, lesson number 1. It's only been 6 months.
Wow.
So I'm super excited about that. I messaged my surf coach and I was like, when can I go to a hard top board? We are custom ordering me one right now. It'll take 12 weeks to make, which I'm really excited
I'm impressed that you've really stuck with it and you enjoy it.
I'm fucking obsessed with it. I love it so much. And so we are going to custom order me a hard top board. So that's my goal, to be able to write it by the time it gets here. And I'm just going to like will things to me at this point.
Where do you go? Do you surf in Laguna or where do you go?
I do Laguna, the Strand, and now we've been doing San Clemente too.
You do the Strand?
Yeah. I just want everyone to know, anyone who surfed, I officially started riding the rail, meaning I can go all the way up, touch it, dink, all the way back down.
You're so little, I could see that. Like your first lesson we went together and I like look like a big... I don't know what I look like. I was like up and then just right into the wave. You were like, doo-doo. You're like just popped up, but like you're just so little. You're like, doo-doo.
I'm obsessed. I love it. So now I'm just going to start like willing all of these crazy surf vacations towards me. Like that's...
I like it. You should go to Costa Rica.
I want to go to Costa Rica, Maldives, Fiji, Surf Ranch, Waco. I have like a list of places
I want to go to Fiji and all those places, but not surf.
I know. Well, you can go and not surf.
I just want to lay on the beach.
I'll sit on... I would never sit on the beach, actually. I would be too excited about the ocean.
Yeah, I'm not there.
But let's actually talk
about... Let's go to our topic.
Well, I actually want to talk... I feel like all of this kind of segues in about... Guys, I understand that life is scary and it's hard. And because there's no certainty and there's no guarantee in the things that we do, that when we decide to do something, we always feel like we're gambling. We do. Like... Even me custom ordering this board, it's going to be thousands of dollars. This is insane, but I don't care. I'm betting on myself. I'm not even a gambler. I actually hate gambling because I'm a sore ass loser. But I know me.
I'm like a calculated gambler.
See, gambling, like Vegas gambling, I'm out.
No, yeah, not that kind of gambling.
That's the gambling I look at. I'm fucking out.
I think of it as like faith in yourself. Like you're not going to make a decision blind. Like you're going to have to be like, hey, does A, B, and C line up? But in the end, like you're going to have faith in yourself that you're not going to totally like drown or plummet.
Yeah. And that's what I think is really important, that a lot of people, I even had someone like DM us, I think it was like on the Instagram account or the Academy account or something, but they were like, I don't know, like it's $15,000. Oh, it was a live we did. They're like, it's so much money. I'm so stressed. And I'm like, I get that. But also, like, you have to have some faith in yourself. Danielle and I, we will never force anyone, nor will we ever convince anyone to join our program.
And there's never guarantees in life, honestly.
No. You know where there is a guarantee? In the Academy.
The Academy
there's one guarantee.
No, for the first time ever, we were like, listen, if you're that nervous about it, like, we will give you your money back if you don't make... X, Y, and Z in the first year. And we've never, so far, so good.
So far, 0 people have received their money back, which has been rad. That means they're getting results. But I think a lot of the fear comes into people are like, I don't know, but what if? And I'm like, do you have no faith in yourself? Do you trust yourself so little? Do you not believe in yourself, even the most, like the smallest, like iota, the bit, that you're not going to do anything? I think
they're worried that it's going to be a lot more work than they're willing to commit to. Honestly, everything comes down to your level of commitment. And you look at that and you're like, oh, it's not even about the money. Because I actually hate it when people buy a program or a trainer or whatever, and I'm like, why are you paying them if you're not going to do the work? So I would say a lot of times people are like, I don't know if I'm willing to commit to that level. But I'm like, but it's not. But what's crazy, it's not any more work necessarily than what you're doing. It's working smarter, not harder, and kind of just doing things a little bit different, and to having that step of faith or that level of belief. And one thing that I wanted to say too is, like, I think we're so quick to like look at something and say, I can't have that.
Ooh,
or
yes.
like it could be like a pair of shoes or a house or whatever, and you immediately are like, someday. Someday is never. Like, let's just be really clear on that.
No.
If you're like, someday I'm gonna move into my dream vacation home, rent, whatever, like someday is a definite no.
Because you keep pushing off someday. Well, Every day is someday.
And I always think like, okay, well, if you are like, hey, someday I want to live here, but it's like a 10-year goal. To me, and this is how I've always, like, people are like, man, I've seen so much growth over you and your husband and your companies over the years. And I'm like, I entertain every what if. If I'm like, ooh, I want that, I'm like, okay, like, what do I have to do to get there? And it's such a cool realization, because like 9 out of 10 times you're like, okay, there's some areas where I'm just not there yet. And like, I need to own up to I'm not there yet. And then there's other areas I'm like, okay, good job. Like, you're a lot further ahead than I thought. And then it's like, okay, so what do I need to do in order to get X, Y, and Z to line up so that I can purchase this house, so that I can purchase this car, so that I can have this, like, what if or whatever, like, whatever it is.
But I think people don't even let themselves get to that point, because we look at the very first step and they're like, oh, I don't know, it seems scary or whatever. And you know what? I'll just use myself. Like, let's even using like the surfing example. When I started, I only started because I just didn't want to be afraid of the ocean. But now it's gone so far past that having a custom made board, honestly, I can't even use it yet. Like I literally, if it were to come tomorrow, I don't even know if I could paddle out into the ocean. It's so much more difficult, but I don't care. I don't fucking care because I know me. I know how I am. And I know that I'm going to do anything and everything that so help me God. The minute I step foot in fucking Costa Rica or any of these surf ranches, you can bet your ass I'm going to have my teeny tiny 6 foot, maybe 5'4" hard top board. And I'm going to be paddling out somewhere.
And
I don't care.
You know why else you're going to do it, Ani? Is because you're saying it right here on a podcast. I think that so many times we're afraid to like share what our dreams are or share what it is. But like, for me, like once I commit to something and I say it out loud, I'm like, oh shit. And I'm not one that's like worried about what other people think, but it's almost like you're like, I said it. Like I've professed it. Like I've got to do this. Like even like with your surfing with my fitness, like I would have never taken my body to the level that I did had I not like actually registered for a bikini competition. I would have gotten to everywhere where I've always been where I'm like, hey, you look fine. There's no reason to work any harder. You feel great. Like there's no reason. But and I've only done 2 competitions, but every time it's so funny. Every time I register, I'm like, but what if I can't do it? Like I'm like, I don't know if I can get lean enough. Like what if I can't do it? And then I'm like, it doesn't matter. You need to commit. And if you commit, follow through with your commitments and you'll make it 10 times further than where you're currently at. And I did a post this morning and I was like, your results are a direct reflection of what you're willing to commit to. I worked really hard. Did I work really hard with my fitness to where it was like a full-time job and I got like first and I was Miss, I don't know, I was gonna say Miss America, but that's a different, but I'm not like at the professional level. I don't have my pro card, but I wasn't willing to put in that time and that commitment. So I made that post out to be like, look at me. I felt like for the time that I committed, the work that I put it into it, for the many years that I've been weightlifting, I felt like my results showed that. Yeah. And I was very proud of that. And I think that we get so stuck in our head of this level of perfection. You're comparing yourself, like, again, going about my fitness thing, you're comparing yourself to a bikini competitor. I'm like, this woman has been in this game 10 years. Danielle, you started doing this a year and a half ago. Like, not even that. Like, you started a year ago. Same with surfing. Like, it's like you'll see pictures and you're like, I think I look like that, but this is what I actually look at.
I say that at least once a week.
But that's fine. Like, I think that people, they get inspired by these professionals, right? Who have been doing something for 10, 15 years and they're like, and then they're like mad, like a year into the game, they're like, but you have to give yourself credit to the time that you've actually put into your craft and let that feed you, let that drive you. And every year it's so cool because you'll get 5 years in, 10 years into your craft and you're like, fuck, look where I started. And that's when it gets cool and you take a lot of pride in the progress that you put in and the level of commitment that you put in.
Well, and I think having pride in your progress is also super important. So even now, I can't, so I'm ordering a GoPro so that I can literally stick it onto my surfboard because I want to see what I look like when I surf, but I also want to record these waves. But guess what? I can't do it until I'm on a hard top board because they don't stick to foam tops. Oh. So now I'm already like, okay, well, son of a bitch, we have to do this. So, but even then, I didn't start something because I knew I would be perfect at it. Honestly, the fact that I stood up from day one, no one was more shocked than me. Like, I couldn't fucking believe it because truly, I expected the worst. I expected to have a straight up fucking panic attack. I've never had one before, but I imagined what it would be like. And I was like, I'm going to have a panic attack in the fucking ocean. I'm going to drown. Then a shark is going to be like, that's a fish. Yink. And I'd be gone. I imagined every terrible thing that could happen.
But we do that in life.
Yes. But then I just had to realize, like, going back to, you have to take a gamble on yourself. I know me, and I know when I am truly committed to something, even if it's crazy, even if it's insane, it doesn't matter. I'm committed. Right. And so even when I started NBR to speak to all of the artists, I didn't know when I joined the first BMS class, it was $2,000. And then my second one was $5,000. That's $7,000. That's a crazy amount for the amount of money I was not making at that time.
But you started to see little increments of success.
After my first BMS class, absolutely. But even with that, paying $2,000 was insane. That was almost half of my monthly income. And bear in mind, my rent was $1,200. That was leaving me with $800 in 1 month. That's crazy.
But then you're like, shit, if I do this, I just have to get in 3 clients this month.
Not even. I looked at it and I was like, if you choose to do this, you're going against every rule you've ever grown up with. There's no proof that this works. You're going to have to extend your credit card limit. You're going to have to max out your credit card. You're going to have to then get money to fly to California. Like, you are putting yourself in a hole.
But
Can
pressure
you do
produces
this?
diamonds.
Dude, and that's why at that moment, I decided, I was like, can you do this? And I told myself, I don't care what it fucking takes, so help me God, I will make this work. And that's what led me to be successful. Was I scared? Yes. Was I terrified? Was I unsure? Yes.
Right.
Did I cry? Yes. Did I have moments where I thought, I don't think I can do this? Of course I did. I'm human, of course. But even through that, I kept reminding myself, like, it doesn't matter. You keep going. Like,
and as
don't
much as
stop.
we don't like that pressure, I can tell you, like, pressure, the times that I felt the pressure in my life are the moments that I produce. Like, honestly, because you're like, okay, you need a little pressure under your belt. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm at a point where I'm in my career, too, where I'm like, I got in a dark place. I got in a super dark place, and there was no other place but to climb out of the hole that I had slowly pretended like I didn't know I was digging myself in, right? And I think that sometimes we do that till we're like, how did I hit rock bottom so hard? And you're like, well, come on, like A, B, and C lined up.
saw that
like you saw that
happening.
coming, but you didn't acknowledge that was actually happening. So I am a firm believer of like, now I'm like, pain is okay. You have to experience pain in order to grow. Do you need to hit rock bottom in order to grow? No. So when I kind of find these little areas in my life that are like tugging, that are a little bit painful, I'm like, okay, it's time to do things that I'm a little bit uncomfortable, because I know on the other side of that discomfort is a mass amount of growth. And if you do that multiple times throughout your life, throughout your career, in your relationships, with your business, like whatever it is, like you will see so much success, and you'll stop living in this land of like, everything's okay. I'm okay. Like, I just need to be grateful. I just need to be happy with where I'm at, because you will, once you start having those moments of progression in your life, you'll never go back to that old version of you. So it's this balance of like understanding where you came from and acknowledging where you're going.
Well, and I think in a lot of times that artists or business owners, people really, they sit there, and I'm sure there's no fucking way one person has at least not had this thought as they're listening to us, and they're like, but Ani, Danielle, you don't get it. My life is good. It's good. And I'm going to have you consider you're just coasting. You're just chilling. You're like, it's good.
Have you ever been not happy and you don't know why? And you're like, I should be happy. Like, I have my dogs, and I have a great boyfriend, and I like have a cute house, and I'm already exceeding like everything I thought would happen in life. But why? Because why am I a little bit bored?
Because here's what it is. I am someone that I have made my life about growth. I have made my life about progressing, not in a way of like, I'm unhappy, give me more. Actually, I'm a pretty chill person, and I prefer, my favorite thing to do is be at home doing nothing. I love,
'cause you work a lot.
My home, I know, my home is my sanctuary. I love being at home, but I've made my life about growth. So if at any point I feel like I'm coasting and I'm not pushing myself somewhere, I do become an unhappy person.
Yeah. I would say most people do.
Well, and that doesn't make me ungrateful for future reference, but a lot of you, even one of our coworkers said this, that she was like, you know, she goes, a lot of people think like, oh, I've done it. I make okay money. My career's good. But is that actually enough?
You know what, too, is you hit these pockets of growth, right? And you're like on fire, and you're like, oh, that person, he or she's on fire, because they're in the pocket. They're in the growth pocket, right? And then what happens as individuals, we're like, oh, I want that high again. Like, I was so, like, it was fucking stressful, but I was so happy with life. And so we try to do these things that we've already accomplished, thinking that we're going to create that same high of life, that same passion, that same purpose. We're like, I just need to do that. No, you don't. You need to do something completely different. You've already done that. You've grown out of that place. You're not that man or woman anymore. So you have to continue to ride that, like, that. But the reason you felt so happy during that period of your life is because, yeah, it was hard, but you were growing, right? So now you have to be like, fuck, you haven't arrived ever in life. Like, there's no arrival. This life, you've never arrived. I hate to be the one to break the bad news to you. This life is about constantly reaching and growing and looking for more. And that's how you find excitement in life. If you want to live in the pocket, you want to live on fire. You are constantly challenging the boundaries within yourself in order to grow as an individual. And in doing so, the impact that you have on other people is massive.
And other people, guys, I know obviously when we speak about that, it's to the students, but for you guys, it could be your family, it could be your kids. Like, those are also the people that you impact in your life. So you can't always look, I just hate when people say, I just want to guarantee. Do you know, I actually, I
Do people say that in life?
I should be really wary of this, of what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it. So hold on. Let me think of okay. I
Careful with your words.
I know. I'm like, how do I say this politely? So anytime someone wants to join the academy, they actually have a phone call with me. If they have any questions, not a big deal. So I was actually on the phone with this girl. She seemed pretty young, like I would say early 20s, if not late teens. And she was kind of like hemming and hawing and felt weird. And finally, her mother took the phone from her and got on the phone with me. I'll be honest. It was a little bit odd. Like that was not. That's the only time that's ever actually happened.
She's probably intimidated or a little nervous. And maybe her mom was paying.
The mother was angry.
Oh.
And she was basically like, I got my master's degree, and if this and this, and just kind of like borderline yelling at me, actually. It was, like I said,
You're like, okay, well, you applied. I didn't tell you to, like, you have to join.
Literally, I don't know why you're yelling at me, but it was interesting because the mother said, well, tell me exactly how long it's going to take my daughter to make this money back. And I kind of sat there and I said,
as she wants to.
I said, I can't tell you that.
Yeah.
I go, because every single person is different, and that really depends on your daughter and what she chooses to do and how much she chooses to commit. I know what you want is a definitive answer. Yeah. So whether it does or doesn't work, you can either say, fuck Ani, or, oh, hey, I guess she was right, whatever. But I'm not doing that because it depends on your daughter. That has nothing to do with me. I can provide, and we can provide all the tools, the skills, the tactics, the practice, the marketing. But if you're not willing to do it, but then that also goes into, well, how confident are you in your daughter?
Yeah.
How much confidence and faith do you now have in her, and how much does she have in herself? Because also the fact that you're yanking the phone away from her has me a little bit concerned, but I'm going to let that one go.
Yeah.
But that's why I say, like, learn to take a gamble on yourself. That's the best gamble you can do.
But if your only focus is the guarantee, you're already stepping into something like, I'm going to fail.
Yes.
Like, why would you want your daughter, or why would you step into something like, I'm probably going to fail, but as long as I have the guarantee, like...
I don't have to try that hard. I'll get my money back.
And you know what? It's so funny because Garrett actually asked me the other day. He goes, because he wants to do a money back guarantee in his program as well. And
I wondered why he was messaging me about that.
And he was asking me, he's like, how do you guys do it? I'm like, it's super simple. I'm like, we track all their numbers. He goes, well, what if they lie about their numbers? I'm like, to me, if somebody lies about their numbers and they're paying for a program to help them, I'm like, please take your money back. Like, if you have to lie about the work that you're doing, you're not here for the right reasons. And I don't know why you're here, honestly. Like, that's like hiring a person, and I always go back to fitness. That's like hiring a nutritionist, and then you're like, no, I didn't eat that. I didn't eat that at all. And you're like, I had 7 Twinkies last night, but I'm not going to tell them. And you're like,
I can see the chocolate on your lip.
And you're like, I can't help you. Like, I don't care that you had 7 Twinkies. I just need to know if you like Twinkies, we need to give you something else that's like the equivalent of a Twinkie and maybe get better results. Like, we judge ourselves, right? We judge ourselves, and so when we do that, we put that on somebody else, and the trainer or the academy were like, hey, we just want to help. Like, we need to see your numbers so that we know how to help you. So if you're stepping into something thinking like, I'm going to cheat, like, that's a bad fucking frame for yourself.
Look, and I'm just going to say, if you want to cheat. Okay. I don't support it. I think you have problems morally and with your own integrity. But I will say this. You be very careful what you do, because
that's just bad fucking karma.
Exactly. Because karma, what is that guy said? Karma's not a bitch, it's a mirror.
Oh, I liked that so much.
I love that he said that. It was in the McGregor fight. It was Dustin Pior. I can't pronounce his last name.
I've said that
but
multiple times
that's what he said. Karma's not a bitch, it's a mirror. So if you choose to cheat, honestly, hey, okay, you do you. But if you think you will ever find the success that you are looking for, if you're willing to cheat your way there, you're fucking not. Like, that's not going to happen. So for me...
And I feel like, honestly, when I was in a place in my life, not that I was cheating, but when I was a place in my life where I was like, oh no, we've lost everything and we've topped out all of our credit cards and we can't pay our bills. That's so weird. I never saw that coming. Did you like that cartoon voice? I fucking knew. Like, when the bills were showing, but I was young and kind of dumb, and like the Amex bill kept going up. And I didn't want to be the naggy wife. And every month I'm like, dear Lord, I was just going to pray my way out of it. That seemed to make sense. I was like, dear Lord, please bless, we'll be able to pay the bills again. Nope. A prayer didn't save me? Fuck. And so I was like, okay. Like, seriously, I saw myself drowning, but I was like, it's okay. It's not going to happen to me. And all of a sudden I was like, well, I hit rock bottom. And then it was kind of embarrassing. Like, we had to short sell our house. We literally, like, I had to co-sign on a loan with my car. I felt like my friends that we were hanging out with, we were trying to put on a show till I had to give back the fucking Range Rover. I mean, talk about like, okay, like, and I'm sure my friends weren't like, she's embarrassing, but I was embarrassed because I saw it going that direction, and I just was like, it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen, and it did. And so that's why, like, I constantly try to course correct so that I'm never in that situation again.
So guys, what I hope you're taking away from this is you just have to kind of let go of the fear and make a choice. Like, really, at the end of the day, it's just a choice and a decision. If you believe in yourself and you know what you're capable of, even if you're nervous, it doesn't mean, like, being nervous doesn't mean you don't believe in yourself. Being afraid doesn't mean you don't believe in yourself.
I still get nervous, like when we do events and things like that. But it's a good nervous because I know I've prepared. I know where I'm at. I know I have a frame. I know what I'm going to say. Am I still nervous? Yes.
Well, and also there's support. It's never you by yourself. There's always me, the trainers, the staff. And that goes the same with even what we say for the academy. You can come in and be nervous. That's okay. Be scared, be terrified, be sitting there going, oh my God, what have I done? That's A-okay. But you're also not alone. And for any, like, even salon owners, like, yeah, when you do things alone, it is a little bit stressful at first, but there's always help and support if you're willing to seek it out.
And that was honestly my goal with the academy is, like, I felt like I had such a rough go and I felt so alone. And at the time, I didn't feel like there was anyone I could go to. Like, I didn't like my husband. I left my religion. I distanced myself from my friends. I never felt so alone in my life, like, literally, but there was some shit I had to deal with on my own and figure out. And so that was, like, one of my goals is I was like, I don't want people to have to go through this level of, like, pain, right? I don't believe it's necessary. Was it necessary for me? Sure. I probably needed to take a few kicks in the face along the way, and that's fine. That's how I became the person I am today. But that's what I love about the academy is just the rate in which our students are having success. I'm like, it just makes me so happy. But we've created conditions not only where it's like, hey, here's, like, the step-by-step process, but it's just like it's an amazing accountability, like, program, honestly.
Something I love is one of the students actually just wrote a post a couple days ago, and she was responding to me about, like, something I've written on Instagram, and she's like, I really needed to hear that. She goes, I opened up my own salon. I had 5 girls that wanted to come work for me. Then it went sideways. Now they don't. She goes, I feel so alone. Yeah. She goes, I feel like I have no one to go to. She goes, I mean, she's like, I know I can come here. And what I loved is as she's writing this and saying, she's like, I've never felt more lonely in my life, and I'm stressed. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. All of the comments were, do you want to talk? I'll be your friend. Because she was literally like, I lost my friends because I didn't go the direction they wanted. The people that wanted to work for me, they decided not to because she goes, at first they were like, yeah, changes. Then they're like, wait, changes? Yeah. But what I thought was really cool is the community, like the academy came together and everyone was like, do you need a friend? I'll be your friend. Do you want to talk? Hey, I've been through that. Do you want to talk? And it was so much support that it really reminded me watching this and her, like, you're not actually alone. Yeah. Like, there is so much support and guidance and, like, I'd say, like, friendship and love here, but it's true. We become such a tight-knit community.
And as sad as that makes me hear, like, when I hear that happen, I'm like, oh, but you know what? You're not going to make that mistake twice. You're going to organize things that the next people you hire are going to be, like, a better fit and a better system because you became a better business owner. And guess what? You might still have a few people that leave. But every time something that happens to me in my business or in my life, I have to ask myself, how did I play a role? How can I be accountable? And is there anything that I can jig or adjust that will make the experience, you know, that I can grow from, that I can learn from, that I can implement to my business? And instead of being like, well, fuck her, I'm like, what role did you play in that, Danielle? And honestly, that's been such a big reason that I feel like we have such an amazing team. We have such an amazing community, even with inside the academy. So anyway.
So, guys, we are coming to the end of the podcast, and I just want to say we have one event left this year. It's BMS Con Virtual Experience. It is the beginning of September. It's 2 days virtually with Danielle, myself, the training team. We're going to be doing live models going over BMS, which is the business marketing and sales. And for those of you that you're like, I want to learn MBR, but I'm nervous, I don't know what it is. This is, I feel like, a really great introduction, which, yes, you do learn how to do MBR and how to do it at the salon, but to really, like, get your feet wet and start really seeing what it is and what makes the MBR education so different from other brands.
And we had some public classes this year, but just based on timing, because we had a ton of commitments to our academy, we had limited classes available for the public, and the virtual event allows us to kind of reach a little bit bigger scale for those of you that have been interested in MBR. And just to give you some perspective, the tickets are $1,000, the academy is $15,000, and people hear like $15,000, they're like, oh my God. So I'm like, hey, I get it. No worries. Like come to the virtual event, honestly. Like get your foot in the door. I promise you, you'll know right away. Like you found your community, you found your people. And if not, like you've got a killer extension method under your belt that you can offer to clients. So this is our last event that we're doing for the year. So if you wanted to learn MBR and see why it's so different, tickets are on sale for I think another week or so.
About another by the time they hear this, about another 2 weeks.
So.
Yeah, so guys, thank you for being here with us. If you want more information on the BMS Con virtual experience, go to nbr.education. And as always, messages on Instagram. Share this.
We're doing lives on Instagram every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you want to see us live, if you love the podcast and you're like, I want to ask Danielle and Ani a question, come join our live. We have them every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
So guys, thanks for being here with us, and we'll see you next week.